Okay, so for this module, I want you to understand that everything is connected. What do I mean by that, right? Whenever you're switching chords, you have to realize that each chord that you're moving into is somehow connected, right? Because it has the notes, because a chord is basically notes within the chord, whether it's 3 or 4 notes, right? So whenever you're switching to another chord, as long as that chord has the same notes as the last one, then it'll sound good. Now, let me explain. Let's say if you start with the D major, right? D major going to the D7 into a G major, let me see, G major 9, and then an E minor, right? So this is how it will sound, right? Now, let me get up close so you can see. So on the D major, and how to play a D major, on the 2nd fret, you're gonna have your finger on the G string and the high E string, and then on the 3rd fret, you're gonna have your finger on the B string. Now, I'm gonna show you how I do it, then I'm gonna show you a way that you can also do it as well. But basically, that's how I have my fingers, all right? And you're gonna strum from the D down, or play from the D down, right? Then let's say if you want to go to a D7, you automatically know that for the D7, right? Let's say if you was to play it with your middle and ring, let's say if you was to play your D major with your middle and ring and your pinky instead of your index, right? Essentially the D7 is literally like an inverted D major, right? So your D major is this. And then for the D7, you're just gonna lift up your finger or your pinky off the B string on the 3rd fret and put it on the B string on the 1st fret. So it sounds like this. So, right? So immediately you're knowing, okay, bet. And then let's say if I want to play a G major 9, again, essentially the same thing, right? All I'm doing now is moving my index finger. I haven't even moved my ring and my middle finger the entire time, right? So again, before we go to the G major 9, you have the D major. And then for the G major 9, right, you're going to lift up your index finger, and then bring it over, right, on the 2nd fret and put it on the A string, right? Then all you're doing with your pinky, because your pinky was free, is moving your pinky up to the 3rd fret to hit the E string, the low E string. So essentially it goes from D7, and then you're moving. And you see, again, I still haven't moved my ring or my middle, right? So it goes from the D major, D7, and then G major 9, and then we go to E minor. Again, the only thing that's moving now for the E minor is I'm gonna be removing my pinky off, of course, and then I'm gonna be removing my ring finger, and then just moving my middle finger up 1. So now it's like this, right? So essentially, pay attention. And then taking this off and putting this on, and then taking my finger off, putting it right here, and then, and you see how it's connected. Once you do it and you're looking at it like through your point of view, you're gonna see how it's connected. So or if you want to be a little bit more saucy, you can add an E minor 9, and to play that, right, your fingers are still going to stay on the 2nd fret, the A and the D string. However, you're also going to add a ring finger to the high E string on the 2nd fret, and then on the 3rd fret, you're going to be pressing the B string with your pinky. So it'll sound like this, right? So essentially it's D major, it's literally all connected. You're not even doing anything crazy. You're not doing anything crazy when it comes to where what your left hand is doing. Now again, you want to do this very slow. Now the trick is to sustain your chords. And what do I mean by that? Basically, sustaining your chords is whenever you're switching to the next progression, you can kind of still hear the notes from the previous one compared to, and then you pause it and then, you know what I'm saying? So that's where finger placement comes in. So you can either have your index finger and your middle finger and your ring finger doing the D major, or you can have your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky. It's whatever you want to do. That way you can just lift up your pinky and then just add your index finger to the D7. So D major, D7, G major 9, and then E minor or E minor 9. So if we implement from what we just did from the first module, the second module, and the third module, right, with the upstroke, the finger pattern, we have however you want to do it, right? It's literally not rocket science. Yeah, and then of course you're gonna come up with mistakes, but really the mistakes are really just trying to go too fast. I would recommend going as slow as possible and then bringing up the speed. I was not doing that when I first started, you feel me? So that comes with practice. So just keep practicing and then you should be good to go.